Joining me now is Corp Columnist Angela Mollard and news.com.au entertainment reporter Bronte Coy. Ladies, we spoke about this CBS interview on the show last week ahead of it being broadcast. I'd love both your takes on it. Angela, you first.
Yeah, look, to me, this is textbook Diana. You take an issue, you explore it, you investigate it. In this case, of course, it was the families who had lost their children to suicide because of online bullying. The reason it's textbook Diana is it's exactly what she did. She found a cause, she put herself in the spotlight, she used media to draw attention to the cause. The problem with Meghan and Harry, though, is that they do not have royal backing. They're not royal adjacent, so they don't have the proven and legitimate agencies behind them supporting the cause. So for me, it falls flat. Yes, Archewell Foundation, which we know is a fairly fledgling foundation, has set this up. They've organised the Parents Network. But to me, it doesn't have the legitimacy that's necessary to really drive home these issues.
Bronte, your view?
Yeah, firstly, I completely agree with Angela, but also it's amazing to think because it does feel like we've heard so much from Harry and Meghan, but this was actually their first major joint TV interview since the Oprah one in 2021. So all eyes were on them anyway, just to see how they were working together. I do think this is an area that they are passionate about, while, of course, there are the pitfalls that Angela mentioned. But what I also found interesting was that Meghan did reference in there that she's barely scraped the surface publicly of her own issues while she was in the royal family. Now, that means obviously there's a lot that's been left unsaid, and I do wonder, after hearing that, is there a time when we will be hearing more about that part that really was very damaging when she spoke about it in that Oprah interview?
And in relation to that, look, we understand from reports that Meghan was apparently furious at this question being asked. Here it is.
You had suffered too, personally. Contemplating killing yourself is what suicidal ideation was. And I'm dancing around this because I can see you're uncomfortable with my even going there. Do you?
I understand why you are, though. I wasn't expecting it, but I understand why you are.
Angela, what was the issue here?
Look, she clearly wasn't expecting that. You saw that gaze, that very, very angry, cold gaze. She's on camera. She can't go back from it. Look, I thought she handled it really elegantly. There have been reports that she absolutely lost it afterwards and was just shouting at producers about it. The problem, of course, is that by talking about her own suicide ideation, which she, of course, spoken about in the Oprah interview that Bronte just mentioned, is that she then conflates her experience with the experiences of people who have lost their children. Now, she wasn't really doing that. She was questioning it, but that, if you were looking at it from a PR perspective, and that's where criticism has already occurred, that you could be seen to be putting yourself into the story, which really the focus should be on others.
And I guess, Angela, with any interview, the occupational hazard is that you're going to be asked a question that you're not expecting. But Bronte and Angela alluded to it earlier, that Harry and Meghan intend to launch a parents network to help families with the challenges of social media and online abuse. What exactly is that, and why do you think they're doing it?
Yeah, so that's what this interview was all about, and this is something they've spoken about over the years. They're very concerned about the social media landscape. So the Parents Network, as I understand it, it looks to be twofold, which is going to be offering support to parents whose children have been harmed by social media, and also looking at ways to prevent social media becoming harmful to kids. So it looks like there'll be communities for parents to get together and support each other. There'll be learning seminars with experts, and also tools and resources offered to them to sort of help them navigate their kids being on social media. So it is something that clearly is, an issue affecting a large portion of the world, and it is something that they care about. But it'll be interesting to see how the program actually works, and how involved they'll be with it moving forward. This was a pilot program from 2 years ago, but it's actually just now being rolled out, so we'll have to wait and see.
We will, absolutely. And look, last week on the show and in our interview with Russell Myers, we noted the lack of progress of Meghan's lifestyle brand, American Riviera Orchard. Now, Angela, we understand there's a trademark issue.
Yep, she's in a jam, that girl. You know, American Riviera Orchard has the longest name and now it has the longest launch in Christendom to actually get the product on the shelves. That's right, Caroline. There are trademark irregularities. Look, this can happen, and what it means is that because they are adding different products, there's now yoga blankets, picnic sets, there's all sorts of books and recipe books. And because they're going global, they need to have this all ticked off in different places around the world. So it's a normal thing to happen. But what she's done wrong is she's launched it back in March. She's now got 615,000 followers on her Instagram account. Look, it's all been very kind of, mysterious. Here's some jams. But if she's actually gone into production with those jams, they will have gone past their use-by date by the time this product actually hits the shelves, because it's now not expected to come out until next year. My problem is that all, good for her. She's looking at, being the next Gwyneth, but she looks seriously amateur by having this delay.
Well, you would have thought you would have got all the trademark stuff sorted before you launched. But anyway, who am I to say? Now, Bronte, there's also a report this week that friends of Meghan have encouraged her to drop the idea of launching an alcohol brand. We did discuss the idea of wine under American Riviera Orchard a few weeks ago on the show, but what's this all about?
Gosh, American Riviera Orchard, it really is a mouthful, isn't it? And as Angela said, this is kind of the issue. So there is the time it's taken for this to roll out, and also the fact that it's just such a broad scope of products already. And she really needs to have a clear focus as she launches this, which we haven't seen yet. But in terms of the wine, okay, so Meghan clearly has an interest in this area. Her former lifestyle blog was actually named after her favourite wine. So certainly it's something she's passionate about. But the wine business is a whole other thing. It's so ferociously competitive. It takes years to develop something that is going to be a really marketable product. And I think there's concern that if she doesn't sort of fire the gun on this business really soon and with some really solid products, interest will wane. The soft launch was so long ago. I really thought that we'd have seen more from the American Riviera Orchard by now. Always a mouthful. I think that's the main issue with the wine. It just seems to be an added element to something that's already taken quite a long time. And it's also, wine is such a difficult area to get right. And I just don't think she has the time to really finesse that.
Fair enough. And Bronte, staying with you, and we understand the King has finally kicked off his summer holiday. Look, it's been a rough year for the monarch so far. What's he up to? Do we know?
Yeah, so of course the royals will head up to Scotland to Balmoral for this summer holiday. The King and the Queen have gone up there already. They'll be joined by members of the family, including Kate and William and their kids, and other members like the King's siblings. But look, this is their favourite place. This is all the royals' favourite place. The late Queen absolutely loved it there. I was actually at Balmoral Castle just early last week, and I can say I really get the appeal. It is the most beautiful area in the Scottish Highlands. And so it's really an opportunity for them to just go up there, relax, take a break, away from the public eye. It's quite remote. They go hunting, they have barbecues, they just sort of hang out as a family, which is a very relatable thing, albeit in a castle. That's just kicked off, and that will see them all out of the public eye for a few weeks, and never more than now have they needed that. It has been an unbelievably rocky few months, and with Kate and the King both dealing with their cancer diagnosis, that time out, and particularly, again, just away from the public eye and with a complete break will be very, very useful.
And Angela, they are away on holidays, but there's been some criticism about the royal family's lack of enthusiasm for British Olympic success. Is there anything to this, or is it just a grumble?
It's just a grumble. So this 800-metre runner called Keely Hodgkinson won a gold medal. The Brits haven't won a gold medal in in athletics since 2016. But you know what? Queen Camilla, she went, paid tribute to the equestrians. Princess Anne has paid tribute, William and Kate, to another sport. They don't have to tick and, make mention of every last Olympian. They'd become like a Hallmark card service, and it would dilute the actual messages they do send out. So it's a bit, I think it's a bit mean-spirited to suggest. Also, as Bronte just said, they're on holiday and they're allowed one.
Correct. And Bronte, the Prince and Princess of Wales are also on holidays at the moment. But, everyone's wondering what happens next. What do we know that for Princess Katherine following the summer holiday?
That's the big question. That is the big question, because the start of the year, we went months without seeing her, understandably, as she dealt with her cancer diagnosis and treatment. We then, right before the summer break, started to get peaks of her again, you know, at Wimbledon and at the Trooping the Colour. And it does look like she's on a course where she is able to step out and partake in things now as she feels well, although she did stress that it will be on a case-by-case basis. So, look, after another break and having that holiday with her family, I think we'll see more of that. I think she will be taking part in public events where possible and in a safe environment and places that are comfortable for her and that the doctors have obviously approved. We will be getting the traditional back-to-school photo of the royal kids, which is always a bit of a thrill. It's such a cute pic. Of course, in the UK, the kids start their school year in September. And Prince George would traditionally, as an 11-year-old, be going to secondary school, but because he goes to an independent prep school, he'll be there for another 2 years, just FYI. But we can keep an eye out for that family photo, and I think that'll be a really nice occasion.
That school photo will be a lovely way to kick off the autumn. And Angela, lastly, we understand the Queen is being honoured with a new garden in London. Can you tell us about it?
That's right, Caroline. It's at Regent's Park. It's in honour of her. It will be opened on what would have been her 100th birthday. I love this park. This is my favourite park in London. And as we all know, you know, Kensington Gardens, there is a tribute park there to Diana. This one will be really beautiful. It'll have Lily of the Valley. It'll have royal tulips. It's got a viewing platform. But the Queen loved gardening, and she used to walk around this area of her garden with her corgis. And what I love, one of my favourite stories about the Queen and her gardens was that she had this summer house, and in the summer house was a phone in case somebody needed to get hold of her. Not for her a mobile phone. She had her own summer house with a landline in it if she needed to be spoken to when she was in her garden. So this will be a beautiful tribute to her, and I'm sure that there'll be, you know, for a lot of people, it will be the perfect place to go and remember her extraordinary reign.
And no doubt a must-visit place when in London. Angela Mollard, Bronte Coy, thank you so much for joining us.